AI didn't kill music, we did. Hey everybody, Jayce Allan here, and welcome back to the channel. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past few years, you've heard of AI, artificial intelligence. Actually, that's kind of a misrepresentation of what it actually is. You've maybe heard the term LLM, which stands for Large Language Model. That more accurately describes what we are calling artificial intelligence. Basically, AI is a type of pattern recognition. The model is a huge collection of language. The model is then used by a computer app to craft responses to a prompt or inquiry that people make, and it generates that response based on the information in the model. So it's not really intelligent, it's just really good at noticing patterns and making predictions based on the huge data set that it's been trained to. So what does that have to do with music? Well, AI-generated music has absolutely improved at an astonishing pace in the past few years. I remember hearing some AI-generated music back in 2022 and it sounded pretty terrible. And now, just a few years later, AI-generated songs are hitting #1 on both Billboard music charts and Spotify viral song charts. We're talking fully computer-generated music with the only humans involved are those that write the prompts for the AI to follow and those marketing the songs to get them in the ears of actual humans. AI-generated music has understandably caused a lot of controversy among artists and consumers of music alike. It is said that AI is killing human-created music, or that AI is going to replace human-created art like music, photography, film, and writing. But is AI really killing music? Is AI going to replace humans when it comes to creating the music that we all listen to on the radio, TV, Spotify, etc.? I'm here to propose a different set of questions. Did AI kill music, or did we kill music? And by we, I mean us, the music consumer. Let's for a moment think about what music is. It's a form of expression. Humans have been making music ever since they figured out how to stretch an animal skin over a hollowed out log and use it as a drum, or when they discovered they could make a whistle from some reed they gathered by a riverbed. Imagine the first time a bored hunter started plucking out a tune on his bowstring. Eventually, these discoveries led to musical instruments being built by everyday humans, and they brought those instruments together to form bands and make music. This was how music was created and enjoyed. If you wanted to make music, you needed to learn how to play an instrument. If you wanted to hear music, you had to go where musicians were playing it. Many times that was on the front porches and backyards of local homes or on small stages in taverns or pubs. Music was a part of our daily lives. We used it during times of peace and war, and we used it to convey happiness or to mourn our losses. We even sent bands into battle to provide a sort of soundtrack to the battles around them. Then we began to record music, not with a microphone, that wouldn't come until later, but with pen and paper. We developed a language to describe music so that one player could share their musical creation with other musicians. We don't have an actual audio recording of Mozart or Chopin, but we do have their music written down by them in their own hand on sheets of paper. This sheet music allowed musical compositions to become widely popular, thus ushering in the very humble beginnings of the music industry. As music evolved, so did the technology used to create it, and eventually we had the ability to record and play back music in an audible form. So a song would sound the same to everyone who heard it, and it could be broadcast to millions of people all at once. You didn't need to actually go to a venue to hear music. You could put a record on your phonograph and hear music from a popular artist in your own home. And with the invention of the wireless radio, people could hear music from all around the country. It was technology that gave the rise to the music industry and brought popular music to the masses. Suddenly, music became part of our popular culture. It especially became popular with young people as a form of self-expression. You didn't need to make music to express yourself. You could simply play a recording of someone else's music to express yourself. The musician put into music and words what other people they would never even meet, were feeling. Music became a way to convey our deepest fears, our greatest loves, and our darkest angst. Music gave us a voice. Then something interesting happened. Music became a commodity. Music became a product. Not just the music, but the artists creating the music. They became stars. We would lavish them with our praise, our adulations, and sometimes our condemnation. They became the voice and faces of a generation, with each subsequent generation pushing how far music could influence us and how much it could push the boundaries of what was considered acceptable. When I was 12 years old, I listened to music constantly. I bought or borrowed records. I got my first guitar. I wanted to be like the rock stars on the radio. I bought tickets to concerts. When the cassette tape came out, I started buying my music on this new medium. Music was pretty much my life from the time I was 12 until about my mid-20s. Then something changed. I basically stopped consuming new music. When I wanted to listen to music, I turned to my own collection of records and tapes, or I'd turn on the radio and point it at the station that played the classics. Then when digital music and the internet made downloading music as easy as pressing a button, I scoured the internet for all my favorite tunes, but never once thought about listening to something new, or heaven forbid, something independent. I think this is common for most people. They tend to consume all the music they're ever going to listen to before the age of 30. Then they simply stop seeking out new music. They complain that music just isn't what it used to be, and so they go on listening to the same old songs over and over. Music always seemed to evolve from one generation to the next, often on the heels of some new form of music technology. When Bob Dylan set down his folk guitar and picked up an electric Fender Stratocaster, music changed with him. When Eddie Van Halen made that guitar produce sounds that no one had ever heard before, it changed music. When Thomas Dolby picked up a synthesizer and made history, he changed music. When Britney Spears donned a wireless headset microphone, she revolutionized stage performances and changed music. While Nirvana came along and tore the whole thing down and changed music. Then about the early 2010s, something happened. Popular music simply stopped evolving. It was as if music technology had gone as far as it could go. There were no new sounds, no new instruments that no one had ever heard before. Music had reached its peak. It became less about the sound and more about the image. Music had become just another generic type of media to consume, like the same old TV sitcom that we've seen over and over, or yet another action movie that looked like every other action movie before it. Music became something that simply existed in the background. And now we have AI-generated music and no one has even seemed to notice. Because music is just a bunch of sound playing in the background while we scroll on social media or a track we pick to play over our TikTok videos. I'm going to list 3 artists that I have discovered in the past 5 years that no one has probably even heard of. Sinead Burgess, Wil Thomas, and a band called Greet Death from right here in Michigan. What do they all have in common? They are all actual humans producing some of the best music I have heard in my life, and they'll never be on the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 because no one even knows who they are. Their music is raw, edgy at times, honest, and so well crafted that it's downright criminal that they aren't more widely known. Instead, we have music created by machines topping the charts, and people listen to it. Not because it's necessarily good, but because it sounds like all the other popular music out there, and no one seems to notice. When I was young, a band would come to town and sell out an arena. They would sell millions of copies of one song. Now it seems the only bands selling out arenas are bands that have been around for 50 years. If human-created music dies and is replaced by AI, it isn't the fault of the AI or the tech companies making these apps. It'll be the fault of us, the humans who listen to and create music. It'll be because of our sheer laziness when it comes to trying anything new or different. It will be because of the record companies force-feeding us the same old slop that has dominated popular music for about the past 2 decades. When I was young, music seemed to change every few years or so, but now we seem to be stuck in time. Same music, same movies, same fashion, and on and on. If we want to keep human-made music alive, we need to support it, nurture it, invest our time and money in it. We need to seek out new music. We need to share it far and wide and make it go viral. AI music will replace human-made music, but only if we let it. That's all I got for this one. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, Jayce Allan here. Here's some bonus content for you. This is what actual human-created content looks like. I actually wrote the script for this video myself. I have an associate's degree in journalism along with a bachelor's degree in computer information systems, and I'm an actual human being in my basement with a real studio, a real background, real cameras shooting the content, and I edit the content myself on a computer and editing software. I pick and choose the scenes. I try to cut out the ums and the ahs, which I do quite regularly. I'm not sure if I were to create an AI version of myself, I would allow it to say and ah and do the little weird ticks that I have, but this is what human generated content looks like, and I hope that you guys will continue to support it. If you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing, please consider liking and following. Also, I'm going to take a moment to push my own music. I actually have an album freely available on all the streaming platforms. Links will be in the description. It's an album that I recorded back in 2018. Took me from 2018 to 2019 to record this album and edit it and do all that. I play all the instruments myself. The only thing I don't technically play are the drums on it. Those are programmed, but I play the bass and the guitar and the shaker and the tambourine and harmonica and acoustic and electric guitars, and I sing on it and provide 90% of the backing vocals. So check that out. Give it a listen. Give me your honest opinion in the comments if you listen to it and you like it. If you dislike it, whatever, just listen to it. So I think that if we support each other, we can help further our creativity and get our art and our content out to a wider audience. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.